Michelle with Pink and Main. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to have some fun making some fall cards with our Cocoa for You stamps and dies and even more. So let's jump right in and make some cards. If you're familiar with our Mugs and Kisses stamp set, which is some adorable Christmas themed coffee mugs, we also have the Cocoa for You set, which is a fall themed mugs. So the first one we're going to work with here is this adorable little scarecrow mug. And we're going to make just a cute and simple card with him. Perfect for fall. I've got all my parts and pieces cut out and ready to go. I have my A2 size top folding card base. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when folded. I have cut from this beautiful orange glitter paper with our scalloped rectangle die. I use this die so much. I think it's the perfect backdrop for lots of cards. And then I've die cut with our stitch rectangles a piece of pattern paper from the Fall Fun paper pad. So I'm going to adhere these together and put them on the card front. Now this is what our card base looks like so far. I love this piece of pattern paper. It's light tan background with all the little splotches or drops of color across it. It's a good neutral background. And I love plaids, and this is from the Fall Fun paper pad as well. So this plaid has the same colors as the splotches in the background, so it goes nicely. I'm just going to put this strip, which is about 2 1/4 inches wide, and I have a 2 1/2 inch wide piece of our Coffee Shop, our dark brown cardstock. And whenever you're using pattern papers together, you always want to layer them with something in between. It just kind of breaks it up, it makes them go nicely together, and gives it a nice finished look. I started out my paper crafting journey with scrapbooking, so I love using pattern papers along with solid papers and mixing and matching, but making sure everything coordinates nicely and looks well and is pleasing to your eye. So we've got a little bit of purple in this background, and I wanted to pull it out. So with our layered circle dies, I cut our Night Sky cardstock, which is a nice purple, and then I just cut a little bit off the side of the circle. I like to make things look like they're going off the page, that not everything is contained within. It's a nice flow for your eyes when you do that. So I'm just going to glue down this, what is now a semicircle. So here is our card base so far. Starting to look nice, it's coming together. I'm going to add our little scarecrow mug, and I've put some of our foam tape on the back of him just to raise him up a little bit, give some dimension. Okay, and now I'm going to add our sentiment. I've stamped and cut out warm and cozy wishes. I cut the little flag end next to the sentiment, and then I cut a little 1/2 inch strip of that orange glitter paper, and then I cut an angle at one end, and I'm going to glue that down and put the sentiment slightly over it. Kind of layer those together. Just adds a little bit of extra touch of that glitter paper on the front of the card. I also colored and die cut some of the leaves in the stamp set, and I thought they would be nice to just add a little extra something. So I'm going to put them around the base of our mug. And then down with the sentiment, I'm going to add a little acorn and a leaf. And there's our finished card. I think it's super cute. For our next card, we're going to be using this adorable little fox mug, and we're going to be doing a little bit of foiling. I've got one of our falling leaves foilable panels, and I'm going to turn my mini Mink machine on number 3, and we'll let it heat up a moment. It only takes a moment to heat up, and it'll be ready to go. I've got one of our cleanup brushes here. This is really good for cleaning up glitter and embossing powder and things from your surface. But I've got one that I dedicate just for my foiling, because we want to make sure that we just dust off our foilable panel and the back side of our foil so that no dust or debris gets in between our toner print and our foil. Is anything dust or debris or pet hair that is in between the foil and that toner printed design is going to keep the foil from adhering to that toner panel. And now our machine is ready. So we put our foil on our foilable with the pretty side up. I'm using our bronze cheer foil. It's a nice like coffee brown or espresso brown. It's a beautiful color for fall or when you need a nice rich brown foil. So I put those in the carrier sheet or transfer folder, and I put them in the center of the opening on our mini Mink machine, and I kind of support it underneath to make sure it goes through flat and even. Okay, once we pull everything out of the machine, it's going to be hot to the touch, so just be aware of that. I can remove the foilable and the piece of foil from the transfer folder, but I don't want to peel the foil back off of the foilable until it's cool to the touch. You want it to be cool to the touch so that toner printed design is completely cooled down and has had a chance to bond with the foil on top of it. Now that it's cool, it's my favorite part, is peeling it back and revealing the beautiful foil design underneath. So now we have a piece of foil that has a pattern taken out of it. This is called the negative or waste foil. I'm going to use this on another card, so we're going to set it aside to use it again. But for this card, we have these beautiful foiled fall leaves. I have an A2 size side folding card, and this is in a craft color, our pebble cardstock, and I'm going to glue the foilable on top. Now I want to add a little extra color to this card, and don't be afraid to mix your foil designs with pattern paper, with colored cardstock. It always just adds lots of interest, and you want lots of color and design to your cards. So I've got a strip of our Wildflowers cardstock, which is a deep orange, which is like the color of our fox here. So everything will play well together and coordinate. Just gonna put that going up and down the side. So this strip is about 1.25 inches, and then 1 inch wide I cut a piece of this stripe paper from our Cozy Critters paper pad. I've stamped and cut out the sentiment Happy Fall, so we have that. And then with our zigzag circle die, I cut out this tan dotted piece of paper from the Cozy Critters paper pad because our fox needs a space to live on the card. I don't like things just floating around. Everything needs to be anchored and looks like it fits to the card. So he needs a spot to live, and he's going to live on this little zigzag circle. I'm going to put the sentiment right below him. And I'm ready to add our little fox. I've put some foam tape on the back to pop him up a little bit for some dimension. There we go. How sweet. I also have some glitter enamel dots. These are the Fall Fun glitter enamel dots. And I think I'll add a couple around this card just for a little added interest. And there is our finished card. Oh, I love it. And I love that foiled background. It just adds that extra something. That cute little fox mug. Okay, for our next card, I told you we're going to reuse our foils so that we don't have any waste. I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off again, just to make sure. And then this time we are foiling one of our bright ombre color toner sheets. If you've not tried these, I encourage you to get some to try it. Look how gorgeous that is for one. I mean, it looks like an ink blended background. We've got these beautiful deep oranges going into yellow and then into purple. I'm just going to dust it off as well. And then I'm going to add our foil to the top of it with that leaf pattern. Now I find when I'm lining up to do the negative, if I flip it over to the back, I have an easier time seeing the pattern and where to line my paper up. And then we're just going to put it into the transfer folder. And again, run it through the ink machine, put it right in the center, kind of support it at the bottom as it goes through so it goes straight through. You don't want it angled up or down because that can cause your folder to kind of get stuck a little, and then it'll kink up and be all bent and folded. So we want to put it straight through. Remember, I can take it out of the transfer folder, but I don't want to peel the foil away until it's completely cool. But take a look. You can get a hint of what it's going to look like. And here we go. That colored toner sheet removes all the rest of the foil there, so we've used that piece up. Look how gorgeous that is. Look at the leaves and how they go from orange into yellow and then that purple at the bottom. That is simply gorgeous. Now when you're using our ombre toner sheets, like the colored one that we have on here, you want to use like a plain foil, a plain color, one with not a lot of pattern to it. You don't want the foil to compete with the colors in the background. So this bronze foil is perfect. You could use any color you want, but just remember, if you're using a colorful background, a colorful toner sheet, use a more plain foil so that you can really see those colors in the background. And then the foil just on top just makes it even more gorgeous. So I'm going to set that here aside for a second. We're going to start to assemble the base of our card. For this card, we're using this adorable little bear mug. It's got a little scarf. And I colored it purple, so it's going to go perfectly with that purple that's in the toner sheet. And I've got the sentiment, "I'm Coco for you." So cute. Now for our background, I've got these funky looking pieces, and I know they look really weird when they're separate like this, but this is our Layered Scallops Mini Slim dies. And what you do, let me put them the same here. So I've cut the same die twice out of two different colors. If you simply rotate one 180 degrees and then you put them together, you get this really cool background piece where the scallops are alternating different colors. Isn't that fun? So I've got a mini slimline card base. So it's 6 inches by 3.5 when it's folded. And I'm going to glue our layered scallops onto the card base. And it doesn't matter which color you put first or second, because we're going to put that leaf background piece over the top, and you're just going to see the alternating colored scallops showing around it. And if you like these layered scallop dies, we have them in circles and we have them in squares. So you can make a variety of different projects and designs with the different sizes that we have. And remember, it's just a matter of cutting 2 of them in different colors, and then when you put them together, those little scallops alternate colors. I just love the look of it. Now let's glue down our beautiful foiled piece. And here's the card base so far. Oh, I love that. And those little colored scallops add just the right little touch in the background. So now I'm simply just going to glue the sentiment down. And then we're going to put the bear right above the sentiment. And I actually glued the bear right on top of the sentiment strip, just kind of attaching it over the top there a little bit. So he's anchored there to the card, to the sentiment strip. And check out that adorable card. The background just really does it for me on this one. Love it. We're going to do a little bit more foiling for our last card here. This time I have a foilable that's solid black toner, because we're going to make our own foil paper. So when you add foil to the solid black toner sheet, the foil is going to cover it completely. actually making our own foil paper. And I'm using Glitzy Gold. It's one of my favorite golds. It's not just gold, but it's glittery. It's got little, that's why I call it glitzy, because it's like little glittery glitz in there. It's gorgeous. So let's foil this toner paper. All right, hot to the touch when it comes out. While I let this cool, I'm going to go ahead and shut our Minc machine off. So we are done foiling. All right. I can already tell we're going to have a good foil adherence. Just look how flat and smooth this foil is against the paper. It's ready to peel it back and reveal. Oh, that's gorgeous. So I've used this foil. There's no pattern in it or anything because we put it on a solid sheet. Take a look at that. Look at that gorgeous foil paper we just created. Super sparkly, shiny, glitzy gold. I created a piece of the foil paper and I die cut the autumn greetings from it. So you can make your own foil paper and then die cut it anything you want. So I die cut autumn greetings, and then I cut the shadow for autumn greetings out of our Wildflowers cardstock, which is at deep orange. So I put the Glitzy Gold autumn greetings over that cardstock. So this is another use you can get from making your own foil paper, is die cutting. I also took from that piece that I die cut, I cut a 1/4 inch strip, and you'll see what we'll do with that in a bit. We're going to add that to the card as well. So let's assemble our card here. I have an A2 side folding card, which I'm going to actually use horizontally, so it becomes a top folding, but it's more of horizontal orientation. And I'm going to glue our Glitzy Gold paper to the card base first. Now you could have actually die cut autumn greetings out of the center of this paper or some other die cuts as well, because we're going to cover most of that up. I wanted just a layer of gold around the outside of our card front. So see how I cover up most of the middle? You could have cut your die cuts out of the center of that. So next we're going to glue down this piece of coffee shop cardstock, which is that deep rich brown. So now you can see that beautiful gold border that we have going around. So our foilable panel is 4 by 5 1/4. To get this nice 1/4 inch border, I cut this piece 1/2 inch smaller. So it is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Our next piece is this beautiful plaid that's from the Cozy Critters paper pad, and I've cut it just a 1/4 inch smaller than the brown. I wanted just a small border of that brown. You needed something in between the pattern paper and the shiny gold. Just gives it a more finished look to have those layers in there. So I said I cut it a 1/4 inch smaller. It's actually 1/8 of an inch smaller. The next thing we're going to do is add the autumn greetings sentiment. And I'm going to put it towards the bottom, just right there in the center. Now we can add our cute little, it looks like he's laughing, smiling really big, our little pumpkin mug. I love the little viney leaves that's on his handle. It's a nice little detail. I did add foam tape to the back of him, so he pops up just a little bit. I'm just going to put him right on top of that autumn greetings. over on the right hand side of the card. And then I've cut and die cut an extra little pumpkin that's in the stamp set. I'm just going to add that right up next to the little mug there. Just adds an extra little something. This card base is a dark card base, so you could write on here, but it might be hard to see. So sometimes I'll take a white piece of cardstock and I cut it 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to put that right on the inside of the card here. So I have a nice space to write a message or stamp a message. But I thought I have some extra plaid paper from cutting that rectangle in the front. So why not decorate the inside of the card a little bit too? Just make it match the front. Just adds a bit more color. And then the last addition is that little gold strip that I cut. We're just going to put it right there, and it's a nice border between the white and the plaid. And there we go. Now the inside of our card is almost just as pretty as the outside. But it coordinates nicely, and we have a nice white space to write our message. And there is our last card. Oh, I love it. I love the addition to the foil with that plaid, cute little pumpkin mug, autumn greetings. Let's take a look one more time at these cards that we created. Again, we used our Cocoa for You stamps and dies, along with Fall Fun and Cozy Critters paper pads, some Falling Leaves foilables and bronze foil, some of our bright ombre foilable sheets, our layered scallop dies, as well as our autumn greetings die set and some glitzy gold foil. Thank you so much again for joining me today. You can find these products and more at pinkandmane.com or ask your local retailer. And until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.